This mutation is called Death from Below and is played on minor evacuation. We have 3 mutators active. We have Minesweeper, we have Lava Burst, and we have Scorched Earth. So there's going to be a lot of fire. Let's have a look at the masteries. Our resident mutation soloist, Tutu, has gone for 30 points into the Zagara energy regeneration, 30 points into the Zergling Evasion Mastery, and 30 points into the Intensified Frenzy Mastery, and they are playing the Apex Predator Prestige, so P3 Zagara. Now, I have received submissions from people who they were actually newer to the game. They did admittedly say that on the description. So I do encourage people to send their replay files, but I would like to see as well people with a little bit more creative strategies rather than very, very favored commanders as well. Like, try and play commanders that are slightly or very unfavored on this mutation, such as Zagara, and I'll be more than happy to cast your games. And let us talk about Zagara. Zagara is probably one of the worst commanders to play just basic minor evacuation. And with the prestiges, with P3, Zagara is slightly better. She is slightly more able to handle the defense of the evacuation ships, but the general Zagara play, if you're playing without prestiges on this map, is you gotta build a hatchery, maybe 2 hatcheries around, wait for the creeps to spread, build some bio launchers down. It's just very, very technically demanding to defend the evacuation ships, because most of Zagara's army is disposable. They are all temporary units, and this is actually the reason why I casted this game. Not only are you dealing with minor evacuation with Zagara, but you're also dealing with Minesweeper, which is a ridiculously nasty mutator, and it also means that you're not really able to put down a lot of static defense, because you do have Scorched Earth and Lava Burst that will throw a wrench in your plans. So we are going to see how Tutu is going to be soloing this mutation with Zagara. You can see we have some upgrades already on the way. We have Heroic Fortitude and we have the Centrifugal Hooks upgrade for the Banelings. The Heroic Fortitude upgrade, very good upgrade for Zagara. It just makes Zagara a little bit more tanky and a little bit more less squishy, so that'll help her out as well. So we do have an Overseer over here. Overseer is just going to try and get a lay of the land and putting into the Overwatch mode over there, whatever it's called. I can't remember what this mode is called, but this will allow Zagara to actually deep tunnel across and start to clear these things here. And remember, these Hydralisks will be able to outrange these units, except for the Spire Mines, so they are going to be killed off here, but at least Zagara knows where to not step on, and actually all she has to do is just throw a Baneling Barrage, and one Baneling Barrage will be able to clear these things out, these Spire Mines as well, being a little bit annoying, but now Zagara is actually attacking them from the high ground, so she does have that bit of an advantage over there. There are a few more Spire Mines as well. These Spire Mines will end up killing off these Hydralisks, and actually it doesn't really matter for Zagara, because these Spire Mines were actually single use, so all she has to do is deal with the Widow Mines, which are the ones that will actually be a little bit more annoying. But Zagara can solo handle and defend this evacuation ship. Obviously cannot do this for all the evacuation ships in the game, but this will help Zagara get a reasonably solid start while she ramps up on the back here. And we can see that we're going for the Corrosive Acid upgrade as well. And now the Nice Worms have come out. There was a little bit of a wiggle on the screen there. So the first Nice Worm is out, second Nice Worm will be coming out around here, and the third one on the northern spot here. So second Nice Worm is out. Zagara just tries to run through. Baneling Barrage over here will take off these Nice Worms. These Nice Worms are a lot less tanky than the ones that you will see on Dead of Night, so this is not too much of a problem for Zagara, and just a single Baneling Barrage, as you can see, can deal with this, and Zagara able to handle this, has to step away from the aberration. She does not want to get slapped by that aberration, and that evacuation ship will be held without any other problems. There will be a few more volatiles that will be spawning here, but we have a lot of Banelings over here as well, ready to defend, and Zagara's army is just going to be running through here and just clearing out all these infested units over here. Now do note these infested units are a little bit more tanky than the infested units you will see on Dead of Night. Dead of Night infested are pretty squishy, but the infested here, they are actually reasonably tanky. You see 100 HP on this Marine here as well. So Zagara is going to be clearing out the structure, and again, she has to be very careful with how she navigates. She needs to have an overseer that is checking everything out. You can see that there are minefields here. And let us actually talk about this Minesweeper mutation. You can see this is what I mean by a minefield. They spawn in patches, and each patch will have 4 or 5 Widow Mines, and each patch will have 5 or 6 Spire Mines. And this is how the mutator will actually spawn them at the start of the game. These things are all spawned at the beginning of the game. You can see the enemy composition is a ground Terran composition here. But this is how the mutator will spawn. They do not spawn in random locations, as in the spider mine or the widow mine will not spawn in random locations. They spawn in a patch together. So 4 widow mines or something, and you'll have a certain number of spider mines. I can't remember. All the information is available on Starcraft2co.com if you want to have a look, and if you want to have a look to see an example of how the minefield looks like. So be aware that you can actually spot these minefields as long as you have some terrain visible. Now, unfortunately, on minor evacuation, it's a little bit more difficult because you have creep covering the ground. But if you do not have any creep, I'm gonna try and find, like, you'll notice like there will be like little bumps on the ground. It looks something like this. This is obviously not the mines, but I'll try and see if I can show you that as we move around. But the terrain will look a little bit different, and that's how you know that you'll have a minefield there. And if you know there's a minefield there, then you know Zagara's Bailing Barrage works really well. Nova's Sabotage Drone works really well as well. All you have to do is try and clear this out, clear these minefields out. After that, you're pretty much okay with that. So we have another harass wave coming up now for this evacuation ship, but Zagara is already in position over here, and she has also she's moving a few of her banelings over to try and maybe, I think she wants to try and run them through this area over here. There you go. So I don't know whether you noticed that. Rewind the stream a little bit, you'll see that there was a widow mine right over there. And because there's a widow mine there, it means that you also have an entire set of spire mines, and there'll be obviously a few more widow mines in that patch as well. So there's a patch over there. You can have a look. Just pause just a little bit before he pulls its banelings back. That is how you can tell. You just have to pay attention to the terrain. You have to be zoomed in a little bit. Also, it's like if you're not really familiar with the terrain changes that a widow mine normally has, it will be a little bit more difficult, but you have to be paying attention. The other option is just have a lot of detection, and there are commanders, like for example Arcanus works really well. His dragoons can outrange the spire mines and the widow mines, and he has, you know, very nice detection. His detection happens to be cloaked, so cloaked detection, like his observers, very convenient, because unless there are detectors around there, these widow mines will not actually shoot down the observers, obviously. So lots of options available. And obviously I did recommend Nova for the weekly mutation shorts video that I released a few days ago. Nova, probably one of the best commanders for this mutation because she's so effective at clearing out these minefields and holding the evacuation ships by herself. She's really, really strong. And this is obviously not counting the overpowered commanders that I do not feature on the weekly mutation shorts unless I absolutely have to. So these overpowered commanders are usually Tychus, Zeratul, and P2 Stetman. So those commanders are always favored on pretty much every single mutation they play. On almost every single mutation they play. So those commanders I usually do not recommend on those shorts videos. But this next evacuation ship is launching right now, so 1 minute 30 seconds left to launch. There will be a set of Banshees that will be spawning here, and Zagara will have to drop her Hunter Killers and focus fire down those Banshees before those Hunter Killers despawn, although she's going to be having a little bit of a bad time. But we do have the Medusa Blades upgrade as well for Zagara, which is really important. P3 Apex Predator Zagara, I think it's usually good to go for a second evolution chamber and just rush those upgrades out as well. Makes your Zagara so much more effective and so much more dangerous for Amon's forces, and you know, she can basically hold her own. You can see over here Zagara is having absolutely no problem just handling this thing, and she drops a Hunter Killer, drops down as well a set of roaches, and those roaches are able to handle this, and this evacuation ship will launch as well. Even if everything focus fires down this evacuation ship right now, the evacuation ship will not die. And here, you can have a look here. This overseer is actually getting a really good bit of vision, but there are a few minefields over here. There's one field over here, and there's also another field that is in that location here. So we have an attack wave on the way as well now coming out. So Zagara is going to be able to basically be okay over here. I actually did receive a few mutation submissions from Tutu for this mutation. I received a P3 Zagara, I received a P1 Han Horner, and I think I also received a Raynor. I think it was a P1 Raynor game. And I think if I understand correctly, this Zagara game that I'm casting right now and the Han Horner game are the first time this mutation was done with these commanders. Now, obviously, Prestigious have provided a huge buff to co-op commanders, but it's always nice to see mutation solos done on, you know, unfavored commanders. You can see how these bio launchers are being set up right now. These bio launchers are not there for the current evacuation ship. They will probably be used for the later evacuation ships. So Zagara is just getting this all set up at the start. We have a few hatcheries now being put down. I'm pretty sure Zagara is not going to be mining off this base because it is not allowed for mutation solos for Zagara to actually mine this base. Just using a bunch of creep tumors here and putting a hatchery down just to spread a little bit more creep. I'm pretty sure Zagara is not going to be mining from this base, but there are a lot of drones over here, so maybe just a lot more bio launchers being used. Let's see what's going to be happening over here. Eradicators have spawned as well. Zagara is going to start pushing in to this next evacuation ship spawning and does not really want to hit that panic launch timing, because if you get the panic launch timing, evacuation ship takes like 3 minutes before it starts launching. It just slows your progress down throughout the course of this mission. So Zagara just hanging around right now. What do we have in production? We have some more drones, some more creep tumors as well. These queens are just spraying these creep all over the place here. These drones I think are going to be dropping down and converting into bio launchers here. I think these bio launchers are going to be able to hold the potentially final evacuation ship on this map, and it's going to be very important for Zagara to do so. So again, there is another harass wave coming up for this evacuation ship, so Zagara will be able to handle this without any issues. This entire path has been cleared as well, so it should be safe for the banelings to rally the way through here and be able to hold. And you can see there are some evolution chambers being dropped. Now, one thing you can also do is you can block this cave. This is known as the Bane Cave, so a very interesting thing happens if you build a structure over here and just block these things. The banelings, the volatile infested spawn, and they don't actually detonate on the buildings unless you attack them. So they end up getting stuck there, and then eventually they'll despawn, or they'll detonate, doesn't really matter, once the evacuation ship launches. So this is actually a very easy way of dealing with those volatile infested. So we have a panic launch timing. Again, Zagara will have to stall just a little bit, and it looks like Zagara is going to be stalling a lot here. Lots of evolution chambers on the way, so 8 evolution chambers, and these things will stall temporarily, but actually we really don't stand a chance because there's going to be a lot of banshees and a lot of aberrations coming up. So we have Zagara's Zerglings getting in as well into position, getting ready to hold, and a lot more bio launchers as well on the way. And as I said, no mining is being done over here, just using this hatchery to provide some creep for Zagara, and Zagara is going to be preparing for that final evacuation ship, I think, on her route. So as you can see here, these aberrations are just going to be able to clear through these evolution chambers very quickly. And additionally also is you have these scorched earth that comes up, so when these infested die, they set the whole ground on fire and they end up like igniting the ground that is near the evolution chamber. And eventually the evolution chamber just ends up taking dot damage and will end up going down very, very quickly. So Zagara is actually going to end up getting her evolution chambers cleared out over here. These bio launchers are going to be redirected to try and deal with this attack wave, and this attack wave is going to get completely wrecked over here very, very quickly. We have some spine crawlers and a spore crawler as well to try and defend against that attack wave. And over here, Zagara, again, like I said, is just stalling. 45 seconds she has to stall, and there are a lot of enemy units over here, so Zagara cannot just abandon this evacuation ship because the evacuation ship will go down. So Banelings going in, running into this slew of infested Zagara. You do not really want to lose your Zagara. You lose your Zagara and bad things going to happen. Corruptors moving in to try and take out these infested banshees, because these infested banshees actually deal a lot of damage, and these aberrations as well, very, very scary right now. Those aberrations can actually take out this evacuation ship so fast. But they are going to aggro Zagara, and Zagara is going to deep tunnel out of there, letting the evacuation ship tank. You saw how quickly that thing went down? It is very, very close. That hit like 40% HP in 3 seconds. If you try and leave the evacuation ship at that time, at 10 seconds to spare, you will lose the evacuation ship, guaranteed 100%. So Zagara is back at the base now, and she is going to regenerate her HP. We have some corruptors along the way. They have to be a little bit careful. These lava birds can blast them out of the sky, and we also have a harass wave that is making its way towards the evacuation ship. I do not know if Zagara is going to try and deal with it. You can lose one evacuation ship in this game without really suffering any repercussions, but any more and you will lose the mutation. So you have to be careful, and there we go. Yeah, you have to be very careful with these minefields. So I think Zagara might actually forego that evacuation ship and just let the evacuation ship go down, and while she actually spends a little bit more time trying to clear this area out. Drops a roach drop. The roaches will get obliterated by the spider mines and the widow mines, but everything now is gone, and it's pretty much safe for Zagara to move in and clear out the rest of this area out. The widow mines will have a recharge time, obviously, so Zagara has a little bit more time to start clearing this area out, but she will have to hurry up a little bit because these widow mines will end up recharging sometime soon. One evacuation ship has gone down already to Amon's forces, so And Infestor is just spazzing out just a little bit, and Zagara clearing out some more of the infested structures in this area here. Infestor also killed off, and we have an engineering bay and another one of those colonist huts that need to be cleared out. And I think if Zagara will be able to launch this evacuation ship. So again, like I said, it's going to be a little bit tricky, but these bio launchers are going to be absolutely critical in the hole that Zagara is going to need for this area out. And again, Zagara has to be a little bit careful. There are potentially minefields all over this area, like so. Yeah, you can see those banelings actually getting hit by those widow mines over here. And that's actually pretty nasty. Unfortunately, they can't really do anything against the infested banshees over here, but Zagara is back into position. She does have her overseer as well to provide some detection, and Zagara is going to be clearing out this area for the final spawn here. So those hunter killers, very, very effective at clearing out these banshees. This guard drops one baneling barrage here. That baneling barrage will kill off all the widow mines, and there was also one spider mine over there. You can see the little flame there. So that is all cleared out, and this evacuation ship is good to go. I wonder which one Zagara is going to be launching first. I don't really think it matters too much. Potentially, maybe you want to try and launch this one first, because this one is going to be fully defended by the bio launchers, so you don't mind really dealing with a stronger attack wave and stronger harass here. But at the same time, you also want to have a little bit of stalling on this evacuation ship. So you know, Zagara has to put down a lot of evolution chambers. Another attack wave is also making its way towards Scar's base, and Zagara will have actually adequate defense. She already has a bunch of Scourge ready over there. There's one random siege tank just sparked here, so wondering what to do. But yeah, that Scourge will just kill off the entirety of that wave over there, and yeah, that is pretty much all of it. There's some siege tanks over here as well, and this bio launcher will just kill this off, and those medevacs have been shooed away. And that should be pretty good. So we have one evolution chamber. This evolution chamber actually needs a little bit of creep, because it does not generate creep by itself, and it will end up dying. So we'll see what the plan is here for Zagara. Zagara might need to drop a little bit more. You can see here this evolution chamber is slowly taking damage right now. So we have some creep tubers that are being spread right now, so this creep will spread over to this evolution chamber, and Zagara will be able to get her hold in, but again, Zagara needs to hurry up. Lots of minerals being floated right now for Zagara, so she can afford dropping all these evolution chambers. Generally, the way you do it is you build hatcheries, and then you spawn aberrations out of the hatcheries to try and defend. Yeah, so Zagara is putting down a lot of bio launchers here. She may want to actually launch... This ship is going to go on the panic launch in just a little bit, so she may want to try and hurry, but the other issue as well is this ship will also start to launch while this thing is being attacked. So Zagara might have to spread her defenses thin. Now, one of the really convenient things is the AI does kind of spaz out. If you have two evacuation ships launching, sometimes infested that are going for one ship will be redirected to the other ship. So what you will have is you'll have a cross path of infested moving from one ship to the other, and it's really odd. And you know, if you're launching a ship here and you're launching a ship down, sometimes your base will actually have infested running through them as well, which is really, really annoying. So I don't know, I think Zagara may want to try and launch this ship before this other one comes up, and Zagara seems to be in position. She's planning to hold two at the same time. I think it's really, really ballsy, but let's see what the plan is here for Zagara. We have a harass wave coming up right now towards this evacuation ship. Zagara is getting ready to launch, and she triggers the launch on this first ship. So this ship now will need to be defended, and I think she should be able to hold. There's a lot of stalling here with the evolution chambers and a good number of bio launchers as well to hold off against this. The only one thing is, as I said before earlier, the cast, the lava bursts are really, really annoying. They can like shoot your banelings, they can shoot down your corruptors, they can shoot down your Scourge. It can get pretty messy here. Some more Marines unloading from the medevac over here, trying to harass Zagara a little bit more, but Zagara is having none of that. So some evolution chambers over here, they're going to be able to tank without any issues. Bio launchers as well. These things are going to get some really good money shots on the spawn, because the spawn right here is really, really good. You can see here a lot of these things just getting killed off by the bio launchers. So these things should be okay. Zagara does use an infested drop as well to try and deal with this harass wave, and we have another attack wave on the way here, but Zagara already has a set of banelings ready and in position. Zagara has cleared out this attack wave without any issues. And over here on the northern side, an evolution chamber falls to the forces of Amon and his hybrids right now. These hybrids are getting wedged in between this area. This thing in the middle is actually body blocking them, so they have to actually clear the evolution chamber. And these aberrations as well are trying to make their way through. Only 2 more bio launchers left standing. 1 more gonna go down, and these Banshees are gonna try and focus down this final bio launcher, and this bio launcher will also go down. Aberration starts to slap this evacuation ship, so the evacuation ship does end up launching. It's all safe and sound, and Zagara is out of there. So, one last evacuation ship left, and you can just see how messy things get. Like, you can see these things just flying through over here. Where are these Marines gonna go? They want to try and exact the revenge on Zagara. They're gonna run right through these bio launcher areas, and they are going to get murdered right there. I think there's still a little path over here, so this is gonna be a little bit of a problem, but these bio launchers will just retarget, and they will go ahead and just get completely melted by the bio launchers over there. Nothing really too much for, not really much of a problem for Zagara. Just 1 bio launcher may end up going down, unfortunately. 2 Marines, they're doing fine. Being healed by the medevac, or by the medics. Finally, Zagara's over. Okay, enough. You guys had your fun. Is there still 1 Marine there? There is still 1 Marine over there. There is still 1 Marine over there, and he is just going down, and Zagara's like, you have to be alive, right? Oh my god, he's still alive. Okay, there. Now he got cleared out. Okay. In the meanwhile, Zagara has actually built a good number of bio launchers and some evolution chambers. So this ship now is under a panic launch. It was under a panic launch timing, so that was what I was talking about earlier. If you let the other ship panic launch, this thing also will start to launch at the same time, and you end up losing the game because you very rarely can defend 2 evacuation ships at the same time solo with Zagara. But again, Zagara is now ready. She has put down her stalling in the form of evolution chambers, these bio launchers as well. And you can see what I'm talking about here. These bio launchers are hitting the areas near the spawn here and dealing like good amounts of damage over there. He's shelling these hybrids as well. Aberration's also taking a lot of damage. These bio launchers actually do really well. And there's also now some very nice tactics here. Zagara drops her infested drop here, stall the rest of these hybrids, and they just get melted by the bio launchers over here. And same idea here. Bio launchers just shelling away at these aberrations and the rest of the infested that are spawning to try and take out this evacuation ship. And we also have these evolution chambers just holding right now. The goal is to just keep dying and sacrifice themselves for this evacuation ship. We have another spawn now of aberrations. There's going to be 1 more spawn of volatile infested as well. These aberrations will end up killing off the 1 evolution chamber over here. Hunter killer is getting used to try and just slow down these aberrations and just try and hold as much as possible. And I think there's another spawn. This is the final spawn there. This evacuation, or this evolution ship is gonna go down. Zagara is right in the middle over here, and she's just gonna get cornered and just slapped to death. Oh no, Dodgers! 2-2 going anti-JYK and being extremely humane towards Zagara, but take a look at the carnage over there. So many evolution chambers gone down, but those are all the evacuation ships saved, and that is GG.